The next week, Adam blasted up the ramp on his motorcycle, and Kathy on the computer pretended not to notice. But as soon as he was a mile or so out, she fired up her secret audio and video bug. The arena was filling. It was almost time for tonight's fight.
Here it is, you freaks and scoundrels! Another night of battle, and hopefully a longer one than last night's one-hit wonder! Place your bets now!
Adam stepped through the curtain into the tunnel, and out into the harsh lights of the arena. This was another huge fight. He had already done plenty in the last week. He was undefeated and feeling good. Most of their fighters were amateurs, with some slight amount of training. The event was still early in its makings, and the true artists were in the official ring where their careers and body wouldn't be ruined by the brutality and no referees here. But then he took a good look at his opponent. Muscle and confidence. And something else. Something familiar. Wait, he remembered him. This man was a professional bodyguard for mobsters and the like. He'd seen his mug shots before from the group arrests of some pretty bad people the man had guarded. This could get interesting.
Begin!
The guard stood still. He sized Adam up. Surely he had been watching the footage from the previous fights. They had cameras trained on them from many angles. But as Adam marched forward, he saw the man's wall of confidence begin to crumble. He hadn't prepared that much. Adam was intimidating him. Adam ducked under a wild, panicked haymaker and sent a forearm into the man's obliques. As the man crumbled over, he brought some knuckles over the man's temple, then punched him back to a standing, punched his knee out from under him, sending him to take a knee, then kicked his chest. The man fell and slammed his head back into the ground. Clearly he was not as prepared as he thought he was. So Adam leapt high, and came down hard with a knee right into the man's sternum. He didn't even expect it. The wind fully knocked out of his lungs, and the pain nearly overwhelming, the man soon passed out, and the crowds cheered, though not as much as last time.
And another win! We have definitely got to find some better competition for this man.
Kathy watched the monitor. Could Adam keep this up? Was this as dangerous as she thought? They got shot at and fought crime regularly. Or perhaps, was she really just feeling the danger of whatever was wrong with Adam on top of the regular dangers of this line of work? The next night, Kathy had the monitor fired up again with her secret video and audio bug recording it all from the window, and her darknet feed of the actual fight as broadcasted as well.
Night after night, our champion has continued to pummel our very best, with 10 hits or less. Is there no one to challenge him? Can no one match his skill? You asked for it and we delivered. In the spirit of the season of the upcoming fight, we got you a real MMA fighter! Bonehammer!
Adam looked up from milling about, impatiently waiting for the fight to start, and saw the sparklers and arena lights shift to the other tunnel. And out walked a well-toned, muscled, professional fighter. Bonehammer.
You heard me right, thugs. It's Bonehammer! He may have been banned for life from the pro ring after being convicted of juicing heavily during his 50-0 winning streak last season. But we don't care about that here. We just want to see some blood and beatdowns.
The crowd cheered like mad. Bonehammer ate it up. The look of feral joy shooting through a spreading grin across his face would make the Grinch look cuddly.
Fight begin!
Bonehammer marched forward and motioned with his hand for Adam to do the same. Adam did cautiously. Bone held out his knuckles. The pre-fight tap. He wasn't completely out of the ring, it seemed. Adam bumped his knuckles against Bone's, and they backed up a few steps, and Bone raised his hands to a guard.
Rick Donovan, this isn't what you think. These men are criminals. They will kill you if you keep this up. And who are you to lecture me? You're here, and you've got to have an MMA background. I don't. I'm not here for the same reasons you are. Screw it. I'm not here to talk. I haven't had a good fight in a year. Let's go, now.
And with that, Bone began his assault. He was ready to go. Adam saw something. The man was clearly not himself. He must have been breaking many an MMA prep rule for this fight. He was more hopped up than some druggies Blue Shadow had fought. Swings came at Adam lightning fast. He could handle the speed of each individual one, but the combos at which they came was incredible. This man had memorized combinations of fighting moves, punches, and maneuvers to the point where he could make sentences out of the words of the moves, let alone short paragraphs. Punch, swing, elbow, impact, miss, counter, escape. He was an even match for Adam. Adam was finding he was actually getting winded trying to keep up. The blows kept coming. One of every 3 hit something, or skimmed. Soon, however, it was 2 of every 3. Bonehammer was already breaking down his patterns and styles and moves. Suddenly, a foot swept Adam's leg from behind the knee. A last-second backflip barely saved him, but even then Bone was upon him in an instant. A kick to his chest sent him stumbling back, and Bone was already at him again, throwing punch after punch. The man had incredible endurance. His pain sensors seemed almost completely inactive as he continued to attack, his energy seemingly bottomless, his breathing rhythmic. He had to have been doping. He was probably doing all 3 cheating strategies at once to increase the amount of oxygen his muscles got. This was incredible. He must have also been training significantly over the last year, perhaps with performance-enhancing drugs. Wait. Was this his opening into underground fighting? Was this his star night? The start to a new career in the underground? A punch got past. Adam's world went white, and he stumbled backwards. His elbow reactively jabbed out toward the man off, but he palmed it away and kept on attacking. Suddenly his back hit flat, but he wasn't on the ground, was he? No. He was against the arena wall. Kathy stood in her chair. Adam was going to lose.
I can't beat him hand-to-hand. He knows way more than me, and has trained even more.
Adam's mind raced. What did they do to the losers? What happens? Not a ref. This was a former MMA, the fist bump. He wouldn't let them hurt him, but clearly someone wanted Adam out of the ring. He was winning too much. Fear and panic began to settle into his mind.
Can't think clear enough to analyze his fight patterns.
And suddenly, his brain flooded with heat and cool at the same time. His sight went crystal clear. His mind flew. Just like that. He saw it all plainly laid out before him. Adam caught the fist of Bone at the end of his last combo of punches. He knew it was the last, because he saw it now. All of it. Clear as day. All of Bone's combos and moves, and all of their weaknesses and openings that he used in this fight. They were right before him, in his mind. It must have been written on his face for half a second, for Bonehammer seemed scared when he looked back with stun from seeing his fist grabbed mid-punch. Especially since that was supposed to be impossible.
Time to kick his butt.
A forearm slammed in the pro fighter's elbow of the punch hand, jamming the elbow in a funny way. That hand flew back as Hammer's fist slammed against Bone's jaw, right before Adam's knee slammed into the man's sternum, and the same foot on that leg shoved the man's pelvis. He leaned forward some, caught off guard, as Adam did a forward flip to bring his heel down on the crown of Bonehammer's head. The man ate the dirt on the bottom of the arena.
Stay down. This isn't MMA.
Bone spit and looked up and smiled, then got up, ready to fight again. Adam did a double feint and caught the man's shin with his foot. As expected, Bone still had his instinctive guard up as his focus went low, so Adam stabbed some fingers at the nerve bundle in his deltoid. As that arm went somewhat limp, Adam grabbed it and yanked it down, and threw a fast haymaker into the man's temple. As the man spun, Adam threw a Spartan kick into his butt and sent the man face first into the floor again.
I told you, Bonehammer, this isn't MMA. Without a ref, without me, you'd be dead by now. Quit. This is your final warning.
The former pro spat some bloody saliva and stood up, pulling one hand to guard. The other two limped to fully bend, and said to Adam,
I can do this all day.
And at that, he sprinted, a lopsided, dizzy sprint, at Adam. Adam ducked to the side easily under the fighter's wild punch and grabbed the man's arm, and pulled it into a lock, then clenched his whole body. bones and flesh ripped and tore. Bonehammer cried out. Adam pulled him by his busted arm and limp arm and slammed a knee into the man's kidneys. Then again and again, and the man suddenly went completely limp. Adam dropped him. The crowd went nuts. Adam looked at them all, then back at the MMA fighter, passed out from pain and damage. This needed to end, and soon. But at least Bodenhammer learned a lesson, right? This isn't the ring. Loser bleeds. But the burning in his mind and blood was still there. It felt good. Really good. To win. It felt better than ever before. And in that elation, Adam spun and yelled out with a battle cry of victory in his high. Kathy stood at her chair watching him. Something was off indeed.